Amen.
Thank you, Mary. This week we are coming to the end of our mini-series. We've been thinking about mountains, about rivers. We've been thinking about the ways of creation that speak to us, how creation speaks to us about our life, about beauty and colour and wonder, but also about uniqueness and about transience. In lockdown, we have had to slow down, had to see our lives in slow motion, and so to look in more detail at the world around us. As Christians, we believe that the world around us has been made by the same being that has made you and I. Indeed, the created order, mountains and rivers and forests, were created before we were. And so they speak to us of God. This morning, we're taking a moment to think about forests. Trees and forests have come back to our attention quite urgently through the fact that they absorb carbon as we share pollution across the globe. But also we recognize the properties that trees have in how long they have been around and the wisdom that they have in that trees can often live for longer than we do. Recognizing too that we haven't always appreciated the value and the properties that trees and forests have had, and we haven't looked after them carefully down our history. I wonder if I said to you trees, what do you think about trees in the Bible? Has anybody got any kind of response to that that you would say? When I say trees in the Bible, what do you think of? Maybe a slightly more different one this week. Trees in the Bible. Anyone got anything that comes to your mind? Isabel, do you want to unmute yourself?
I think of Zacchaeus, the story of Zacchaeus, who was a very
yes,
man, and he climbed up a sycamore tree, and that was a childhood, song that I learnt chorus in the Sunday school, and it's stuck with me.
Fantastic, thank you, Isabel. That was Zacchaeus. Anything else anybody thought of with trees in the Bible? Rosie.
Solomon got cedars of Lebanon to build the temple.
Excellent. That's right, indeed. Yes. Now, if we just go back to, if you want to mute yourself, but we go back to thinking about the cedars of Lebanon. These are, we'll go back to that one. These symbolized resilience, immortality, strength, and elevation. King Solomon, as Rosie said, used cedar wood, and that's what they were, cedar wood, for his temple. Also, trees in the Bible, the Bible story starts in a garden. It starts in a garden, maybe with people foraging. And the Bible story finishes in a city garden. If you think of Revelation, and the leaves of the trees will be there for the healing of the nations. Let's remind ourselves of the year in the life of a tree. Trees invite us to stand still. I wonder if you've done that with your grandchildren recently. How long can you stand as a tree? Trees allow earth and heaven to meet within us. So let's listen to the wisdom of the gentle giants as we think particularly today of two aspects I'd like to finish with, thinking about the life of trees. So I want you to think back to that question we had at the start. For you, which woodland, which forest comes to your mind? Where's your favorite place? Maybe a copse of trees. Can you imagine yourself there? Let its timeless stillness bring you peace and charity and new direction. Let's think a moment about the roots of the trees that you're amongst. These trees that sway in the wind but are secure in who they are. While CO2 comes from the air, all plants get the majority of their water and minerals from the soil via their roots. The roots also help transport the nutrients to where it is needed most and to where growth is possible. In addition, roots provide structural support for the plant. Roots can serve as storage houses for the food produced by the plant. As you look at the picture of the tree, do so prayerfully. For the forest invites us to become still and quiet and to reconnect with those deep roots that we have. What nourishes your heart? What groundwater feeds the depth of your soul? Where is your place of belonging? Where and with whom do you feel rooted and grounded? Paul writes in his preaching in Acts, in him we live and move and have our being. The second aspect of trees that I think we want to think about this morning is their crown, is just the end point that reaches for the skies. Their glory, their extremity, their most part that moves in the wind. Trees raise their crowns to the heavens, straining towards the sun, the source of their natural energy. They spread out their branches to embrace the world around them and give shelter to birds and other animals of the forest. Think again of the wood that you are thinking of, your favorite woodland. Picture their top, their crown. We ask ourselves these questions about our life. Which part of your life gives life to the world? What fruits does your life give to those around you? Stand in your own inner forest and let those questions rise, noticing your roots and your crown. Now, again, we might say I'm not a majestic oak that or extrovert that does this kind of thing, but I feel very small. And yet the growth of trees and God's growth and that flow, that connection is inside each one of us. To finish with, let me read again that passage from Ephesians. And I want, as you listen to it, to imagine a glorious tree raised up and reaching out its branches to the heavens, drawing its water deep from the deepest parts of the earth, knowing who it is, standing secure in its roots and giving glory in its being. I pray that according to the riches of his glory, he may grant you to be strengthened in your inner being with power through his Spirit, and that Christ may dwell in your hearts through faith as you are being rooted and grounded in love. I pray that you may have the power to comprehend with all the saints What is the breadth and length and height and depth? And to know the love of Christ that surpasses knowledge, so that you may be filled with all the